Every cell in your body is consciousness, which means both transmitting and receiving mechanisms. That's how the cells in your body be, and they're communicating with each other. That's important for the continuity of your apparatus, and they're also in communication with their source, which is the same as your source. So your source has understanding of you infinitely and intricately and precisely, not just what you want to have for lunch or what you might want to be creating in terms of the things that your consciousness is thinking about, but the important decisions that at a cellular level you are making also, or that the cells of your body are making also. So let's say that the cells of your body are making the request because they are seeking balance too, and in the evolution of species they're even making new decisions at times. So there's this communication going on between your cells and non-physical that you most likely are oblivious to. All kinds of functions that take place in your physical body that are not necessary for you to have conscious involvement in. They're doing what they were born to do, just like you are doing what you were born to do. So the consciousness of your cells are communicating with each other and with source energy, but they are not left completely unhindered by you, because you could get something going on in your mind that is fear-based or anger-based, and in the process of that you are shutting yourself down to the communication from inner being, even though inner being is offering all of this precise well-being and knowledge to you. In your whatever you're focused upon that has made you mad or has made you afraid, you're in a resistant state, and so the communication is not blocked, not pinched off completely, but certainly hindered. And when that happens, the communication of your cells is hindered too, so that they can't talk to each other efficiently, and they can't receive communication from non-physical as efficiently. So when you feel physical pain, what that always means is that the cells of your body are asking, but that there's something going on in your vibration enough that's hindering that. So the answering is coming, but the not letting it in is happening too. And that's what negative emotion is first. And if it continues, then that's what physical sensation of discomfort is. It's not letting the request of the cell be answered by the non-physical. Period. That's all it is.
I've got some pain going on in my leg. I've got some pain going on in a toe.
So we would say to you, what that means is help is on the way. That means that as the energy is being requested by your cells and you're not allowing it to flow, saying to yourself, well, help's on the way, that could cause you to maybe soften your resistance a little bit. If you could realize that you can relax and allow it. Step 5 is you feel negative emotion, but you're not beating up on yourself about it. You're not mad at yourself. You're accepting that it is guidance about resistance, and that it's guidance about resistance that could be perfectly natural. So you don't compound it by seizing up, by tensing up and making it worse, by now acknowledging that not only do you have negative emotion, but that your thoughts are the reason for it. And so taking a lighter touch on yourself, being a little kinder to yourself, accepting that this is the process of you getting to know your body and the cells of your body getting to know you. Don't you notice that those kinds of physical discomforts, like headaches and even toothache or joint ache or foot ache or toe ache or any kind of ache or pain, don't you notice that when you're in a stressful situation, they are compounded? Don't you notice that stress feels like it's at the heart of a lot of the beginning, middle, and ending of a lot of those things? And then when you think about the analogy that we're offering about the engine on this end of the train and the engine on this end and the engine on this end and the engine on this end, so the stakes get higher and higher until you've got a lot of tension and resistance and stress in your body. Doesn't it just make perfect sense that under those conditions you might be inhibiting the communication between source and cells? The power of the asking affects the sensation of the not letting it flow. So if your cells are really asking and you're in a place where you're worried about one thing and another, so you're blocking, too strong of word, hindering the communication. Isn't it logical that the discomfort would be greater? When you feel strong negative emotion, it means every time when you feel strong negative emotion, your inner being knows what you are wanting is in motion, and your resistance is indicated by the negative emotion. You can know how much help you have, and you can know how good you are by the discomfort you feel. They are proportionate. And so pain and degree of pain is proportionate to power of desire and the non-physical attention to it. If non-physical were giving no attention to you whatsoever, you could not feel pain or negative emotion. Therefore, both pain and negative emotion are a good sign, not a bad sign. And the sign that they both are is that attention is being given to you, that if you would let it flow, you'd feel wonderful. And the fact that you're not letting it flow is directly commensurate with the power of your desire, or in this case the power of the desire of the cell, the conscious cell. So when we say, when you ask it is given, we say that to every cell in your body. When you ask it is given, when you ask it is given. And your cells want to say, hey man, give us a break, get out of the way, chill, go to the beach, get in a jacuzzi, have some fun, lighten up, stop watching television. Anything that is soothing is helpful, and anything that's distracting. Massage is the most productive tool for getting into a receptive mode, because it's light, pleasant, soft massage, because it's not addressing problems. It can bring you to a place of pleasurably accepting the well-being of this moment. And if you could relax into that, there is nothing more beneficial or quantum leapier about getting into the allowing mode. But we want to emphasize that it's really not the big things that are responsible for the most hindrance to your cells, or the most hindrance to your allowing of anything that you desire. It's just the day-to-day life experience that you think of as rather inconsequential that you're sloppy about, because it's the momentum, it's the consistency. If you're just consistently in a funk, you're consistently not allowing an effective apparatus. If you're consistently overwhelmed, then you're just consistently not allowing yourself the reception of the impulses and the ideas that are being offered to you. And so it really is the things that you want to call small things that make up the basis of how you're offering vibration. And we know for sure that you have beliefs that are causing resistance to your now desires, because your current desires are always going beyond your now beliefs, because what's in your vortex is always going beyond the manifestation that's already been allowed. So what is always going to be a hindrance to the next that is coming. And so if you were really aware of what's going on, and you're really scrutinizing and observant of what is, you are hindering the flow of what you've already set into motion. You don't have to have big consequential battles that you are fighting. In fact, the more life has caused you to ask, then the more likely you are to have negative emotion, because asking for more is always challenging what is. Ooh, sit with that for a moment. The becoming that is essential is always challenging what is. And if you are so fascinated with what is, then you're setting up resistance for what's coming next. That's why meditation is helpful. Give yourself a break, quiet your mind, stop observing, stop talking about it, stop fussing over things, stop making big deals out of things that don't matter. Don't sweat the small stuff, and it all is small stuff. Let life show you what you want, and then flow with it. Live a little and then flow with it. Live a little and then flow with it. Go with the flow. Live a little and then flow with it. Don't challenge it. And what makes you challenge it and test it is a practiced sense of unworthiness that you've been dragging around for quite a long time. So you feel like you got to justify or defend or rationalize this new desire that you have, when the most natural thing in the world is for you to have a new desire. And it's all about finding some way to deserve what the conscious flow is that you've got flowing. How do I be a deliberate creator when I'm thinking at all levels of my being? What do I do about that? And we say, first of all, if you're not having any emotion about it, either positive or negative, then it's not a big enough vibrational factor to be making any real difference in your experience. And so if we were standing in your physical shoes and we realized that we were having either positive or negative emotion, we would revel in that knowledge, because that means something is big enough going on. There's a strong enough asking. If it's negative emotion, a strong enough asking that is being challenged by my beliefs. It might be good for me to meditate a little bit, or for me to take more walks in the park, or for me to have more massage, or for me to quiet my mind more often, to allow the power of my desire to carry me into new places around the path of least resistance of beliefs that might be hindering. But then you become part of a conversation like this, where you actually get hold of the understanding that you're asking for more than you've been able to allow, but you still can allow it. So that you still can focus in a way that allows the energy to flow. And as that energy flows, then what ceases is any evidence of resistance, like negative emotion or pain. Because as you distract yourself, as you allow the energy to flow, then the tension stops.